Species of jellyfish in British seas, but seeing one this big, pretty rare. The barrel jellyfish isn't a threat to humans, but it can sting if provoked, and a sting from one this large is going to leave a mark. The divers spend an hour swimming with the gentle giant. They just couldn't get enough. It's incredible, isn't it?
It is fascinating. It's beautiful when you see it like that. And with the diver next to it, then you get the perspective of how big it is.
Size of a human being.
Wow.
That'll make us pause. All right, that's our time for now. We'll see you back here again tomorrow. Stay cool. News 3 Now at 5 starts right now.
Right now at 5, the hot and humid weather has made its way into the forecast. We'll tell you what services are available to help you stay cool.
Armed forces from across the country are training here in Wisconsin. We'll tell you what they're practicing for.
From the Channel3000.com Alert Center, this is News 3 Now at 5.
Thanks for staying with News 3 Now. A stretch of heat and humidity is here, and it is not leaving anytime soon.
Let's get a look at your first alert weather. Dave Caulfield is out on the sticky weather patio. Dave?
Yeah, it is very muggy outside across southern Wisconsin right now with dew points in the 60s and 70s. Air temperatures close to 90 once again this afternoon with plenty of sunshine. Right now, those temperatures in the upper 80s in Madison, low 90s in Mineral Point, 90 even in Boscobel. You factor in the humidity, it feels like 92 in Madison, 98 in Mineral Point, so close to the triple digits. And that humidity just keeps going up from here over the next couple of days. Doppler track showing a few showers and thunderstorms off closer to southeastern Minnesota and northeastern Iowa. I do think these will fizzle as they get into southern Wisconsin. But don't be surprised if we do see a few raindrops, especially for our friends just to the west, like in Platteville on our Queen Bee Radio Skycam. Right now, looking at mostly sunny skies, temperatures will fall into the 70s, still with that humidity sticking around tonight. By the time we get to tomorrow, another trip close to 90 degrees, feeling like the triple digits. We'll talk about the really hot and humid weather on the way for Thursday, Friday, and Saturday in your first alert forecast in just a few minutes.
All right, Dave, thanks. And if you need a place to stay cool this week, Rock County Emergency Management wants to remind you about the dozens of open public spaces where you can do just that.
Hospitals, libraries, and senior centers are open as cooling centers around the county. Rose Schmidt is here to explain what that means and has some tips for getting through this warm week. Rose?
Yes, well, the Rock County Emergency Management Director says only a handful of people usually come to each cooling center, but it doesn't usually cost the businesses anything, and adds just one more layer of protection from being outside. Hospitals, libraries, and other businesses let Rock County officials know they're already going to be open and people can come inside and enjoy the air conditioning. These spaces are especially useful if you don't have AC or if the power goes out. Staff members at Creekside Place Community Center in Evansville say they've already seen more people than usual this week.
It is nice to just be a welcoming center. Even if somebody's out working, they need to come in and have a drink, use the bathroom. That's what we're here for. We're part of the community. We want to be present and we want to be welcoming for any situation.
While these community members were enjoying a community meal, at most of the cooling centers, people are responsible for their own food, water, and belongings. These centers should not be confused with overnight shelters. And just a few reminders from emergency management. If you work outside, don't overdo it this week. Drink lots of water and check on your neighbors, especially if they're children or the elderly.
That's good advice. Thanks, Rose.
Meanwhile, officials at homeless shelters say they will not turn anyone away during this heat wave. Madison area homeless shelters have issued a weather exception due to these extreme temperatures. From Tuesday until July 22nd, shelters won't turn anyone away, even if they've already reached their limit on stays at that facility. Both Porchlight and the Salvation Army normally limit the number of stays to 90 days per calendar year.
When that time expires, it's hopes that they will find housing or employment or something along those lines. But if they do not, then they're not able to use the shelter facilities unless there's the heat exception night, which both shelters have done.
And on Monday, the number of people asking for a bed exceeded the number of spots available, so local nonprofit Friends of the State Street Family quickly raised the funds to place 11 families in area hotels. And the Wisconsin Department of Ag, Trade, and Consumer Protection reminding pet and livestock owners take extra steps to protect their animals from exposure to extreme levels of heat. Owners should keep their pet at home in the shade, air conditioning, or a cool basement. If you have livestock, they say make sure they have plenty of shade and water. Never leave an animal in a parked vehicle, even for just a few minutes. Provide fresh, cool drinking water at all times.
A plane made an emergency landing in a field in Dane County earlier today. The Dane County Sheriff's Office says deputies along with Verona Police and Fire responded to Grandview Road around 11:15 this morning. They say an ultralight plane was attempting to land at the Verona airport when the pilot, a 61-year-old Madison man, experienced engine trouble and had to land the plane in a field. He was not injured during the landing.
And this just in from the Channel 3000 Alert Center. Crews are responding to a report of a house fire in the town of Verona. A Dane County Communications dispatcher says crews from multiple area agencies are responding to a report of a fire. This is in the 700 block of Paulson Road. It is a developing story, and we will have the latest on channel3000.com and in our later newscast. A man is in custody in Sauk County after a disturbance caused Highway 136 to close for about 2 hours. The Sauk County Sheriff's Department says deputies went to a home on East Broadway Street. That's in the village of Rock Springs around 1 a.m. for a report of a gun being fired during a disturbance. A victim ran from the home, but the suspect, 39-year-old Bradley Lewandowski, stayed inside. Emergency response teams and negotiation teams were called to the scene. Lewandowski was eventually arrested. The Wisconsin DOT says all lanes of the highway were closed in both directions between County Road DD and Rock Springs and County Road I north of North Freedom while that situation was being addressed.
Madison police say a man and several children were inside a home that was damaged during a shooting late last night. Officers say it happened on Post Road, which is off Fish Hatchery Road. Police say the man was in the kitchen, one child was in the living room, and 2 others were upstairs sleeping when the shooting happened. The glass inside the family's front door was shattered as a result of the shooting. Responding officers noticed the home's siding was also damaged in 2 spots and believe the damage was caused by bullets. No one was hurt. Madison police do not feel that this family was targeted.
The man accused of kidnapping 13-year-old Jamie Kloss for nearly 3 months and killing her parents last fall in order to get to her has been moved to an out-of-state prison. Wisconsin Department of Corrections confirms 22-year-old Jacob Patterson has been transferred out of Wisconsin. He's serving 2 life sentences plus 40 years for killing James and Denise Kloss at their home in Barron and kidnapping Jamie. Wisconsin Department of Corrections says it will not be disclosing the new location due to concerns about his safety.
Armed forces from across the country are here in Wisconsin practicing their responses to natural disasters.
Now, the exercise put on by the National Guard is called Patriot North. It's taking place at Fort McCoy, Volk Field, and Camp Douglas. Amanda Quintana, back from Toma, has the details. Amanda?
Yes, Patriot North is a 4-day training where our local responders and emergency management agencies can work with the military the same way they would following a disaster.
That sound is the 4 fans of freedom.
This is just a small piece of Patriot North, an exercise preparing emergency response agencies for natural disasters.
No matter what the event is around the nation, we're helping to train those responders here in Wisconsin.
While in other areas, they must be ready for hurricanes or earthquakes. In Wisconsin, it's thunderstorms and flooding. And in those cases, a C-130 would be able to land here, delivering help.
They landed on this dirt assault strip, which not a lot of aircraft can get in and out of. So they'd be bringing in necessary equipment and supplies for anybody who's around here, from food to water. They're bringing in our special tactics squadron. They can get on a helicopter, go down, pick up people that are in a specific flood zone from rooftops.
But Deputy Director Ashley Nicklow says beyond the simulated scenarios, one of the biggest benefits of this exercise is getting to know local responders. So if there is a disaster here, she knows who to call.
Local security forces, police forces, sheriff, you've got the firefighters. You know, if we're not on the same page working together, then we're out doing missions on our own without multiplying the force to save more people.
One partner ready to be sent to the front lines in any disaster is the Salvation Army.
When we get deployed, a lot of people think we don't need a thrift store, we don't need a bell ringer. But when we show up, we're actually going to go there and help people with, again, the hydration, feeding, helping with shelter operations, helping with emotional and spiritual care.
And being here, preparing for anything, makes them all even more ready to help.
There are more than 700 people participating, from local law enforcement to emergency management agencies and National Guard, soldiers and airmen. After 6 summers here, Patriot North will not be coming back to Wisconsin next year, but they hope to return again.
All right, Amanda, thank you.
Democrats are trying to generate momentum for a bill that would allow civil servants rather than lawmakers to draw legislative boundaries. The proposal would require the Legislative Reference Bureau to draw the boundaries. Right now, legislators redraw the lines after every census. Republicans drew the current boundaries in 2011 to consolidate supporters, a move that has helped them maintain control of both houses for the last 8 years. Democratic voters challenged the lines in federal court, but the U.S. Supreme Court ruled in June that federal judges have no role in gerrymandering cases. Democrats say Republican support for the bill is growing.
We now have 3 Republican senators on our bill, Representative Novak, Representative Trano, and just recently up in Door County, Representative Kitchens.
Republican Assembly Speaker Robin Vos is responding, saying Republicans won with court-drawn maps in the 1990s and 2000s, as well as the 2010s. The Democrats' efforts are based on sour grapes because they have not won in 30 years, no matter how the maps were drawn.
The need for translators and interpreters is expected to grow at double the rate of other jobs in this country.
Those skills are especially valuable in a medical setting where the jargon is already difficult to decipher and a misunderstanding can have serious consequences. Only Danica Lewis explains just how vital these services really are, Danica.
And Susan and Eric, they certainly are. We are actually setting the standard for this across the entire country with the highest concentration of certified medical interpreters in the U.S. right here in Dane County.
Oh, yes. Oh, wow.
The oncology department waiting room has gotten a little less foreign for Noberta Garcia.
Yes, the language is a very difficult barrier to have. Oh, better.
She's back for a routine follow-up after radiation and chemo a couple years ago, after her uterine cancer diagnosis.
The cancer has not returned.
Okay, go ahead and rest.
Descanse.
A lot of patients like Garcia have family or friends translate the clinical questions for them.
Medical terminology is much, much harder. Have you seen any doctors for this? Yeah. Sí, ¿ha visto algún doctor para?
But someone like Marcela Venegas Mardones,
I'm a medical doctor in my country.
a former practicing physician in Chile,
A veces se quedan ahí.
someone who knows medical vocabulary in her language.
They feel reassured that someone will be able to express all their concerns. Nódulos muy pequeñitos.
It literally can be the difference between life and death, a correct diagnosis or not a correct diagnosis.
Shiva Badar is the Chief Diversity Officer for UW Health. And while hospitals have been required to provide interpreter services under federal law for more than 50 years, her team takes it a step further with 8 full-time staff members and about 100 contractors who are all nationally certified.
Vigilando en el lado derecho están lo que se llama estables.
They cover about 20 different languages. More than half of patients who request help speak Spanish.
Just a huge relief, even in kind of the worst situation. It's like having that peace of mind that there's communication going on.
Poco probable.
Whether it's a straightforward appointment or complicated surgery, making sure everyone is on the same page and nothing is lost in translation.
It's so rewarding and needed.
So the other most requested interpreters in our community behind Spanish, American Sign Language, Hmong, and Arabic. And if someone speaks a language that is not covered by those 100 in-person interpreters in the area, hospitals in the area do have access to a phone and video service that offers medical interpreting in more than 250 languages. I'm getting tongue-tied just thinking about it.
These are full-time jobs.
8 full-time positions. The others are contracted when needed, and it is a 24-hour-a-day on-call situation.
Boy, very important.
Yeah,
Talk
no
about,
kidding.
You don't want to get that lost in the translation there.
No.
Okay. Danica,
Thanks,
awesome.
Danica.
Thank you.
Sure.
More to come on News 3 now at 5. Up next, R. Kelly in a Chicago federal court facing a slew of charges while he remains in jail.
And coming up on News 3 now at 6, the Salvation Army wants to expand its East Washington Avenue facility. How neighbors feel about the plans.
And a check of the Tuesday numbers on Wall Street. The Dow falls 23.5, the NASDAQ off 35, the S&P 500 down 10. And we'll be right back. R. Kelly pleads not guilty today to federal sex crimes in Illinois.
A judge ordered the R&B singer held without bond as he faces federal charges including child pornography and obstruction of justice. Indictments unsealed in Illinois and New York say Kelly had sex with underage girls and then intimidated witnesses and bought their silence. R. Kelly still needs to be arraigned on the New York charges.
Federal prosecutors will not bring civil rights charges against a New York City police officer in the 2014 chokehold death of Eric Garner. Officers were attempting to arrest Garner on charges that he sold loose, untaxed cigarettes outside a Staten Island convenience store. Garner refused to be handcuffed, and officers took him to the ground. Garner's dying words, "I can't breathe," became a rallying cry for police reform activists. A state grand jury refused to indict Officer Daniel Pantaleo on criminal charges. Chokeholds are banned under police policy. The medical examiner found a chokehold contributed to Garner's death. It was a half-century ago today. 3 American astronauts took off heading for the moon. At the Kennedy Space Center this morning, visitors at Launch Pad 39A cheered at the precise moment that Apollo 11 blasted off for the moon 50 years ago. July 16th of '69, a Saturn V rocket carried the 3 astronauts, Neil Armstrong, Buzz Aldrin, and Michael Collins, on that 225,000-mile journey. 4 days later, the lunar module touched down. Armstrong became the first person to set foot on the moon, making one giant leap for mankind.
Their success expanded humanity's understanding of our celestial neighbor, and most importantly, it taught us something about ourselves, that together we can accomplish any goal.
NASA has set its sights on returning to the moon. The project faces cost overruns and schedule delays, but the goal is to have another man or woman walking on the moon by the year 2024.
Time for weather now. Dave Caulfield is here watching the forecast. Dave?
Hey, Susan and Eric. Yeah, it was another hot one across southern Wisconsin today with temperatures in the upper 80s, close to 90. But with that humidity, it felt like the triple digits at times for some of our friends across southwestern Wisconsin. Actually, the clouds that were around earlier this morning kind of kept temperatures down just a little bit. Also, our weak southwesterly flow helped with that as well. Even still, we made it into the upper 80s, close to 90 today. We have a cluster of showers and thunderstorms making their way into northwestern Wisconsin right now, and we still do have some thunderstorms closer to Waterloo, Iowa. I do think these will fizzle as they get closer to Madison, but for our friends like Platteville, Lone Rock, into Prairie du Chien, don't be surprised if we do see a few thunderstorms this evening. I do think most of us will remain dry, though, as we head into tomorrow. We still have alert days in the forecast for Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday for the heat and humidity. For tomorrow and Sunday, it will be hot and humid with temperatures in the lower 90s, and it could feel like the triple digits at times. But really, what we're concerned about, possibly dangerous heat on Thursday, Friday, and Saturday with high temperatures in the mid-90s at times, and it could feel like the triple digits for most of us during the afternoon hours. So that could be some dangerous heat there. We'll have to watch that closely and really try to keep staying cool and hydrated for the rest of this week. In Madison on the Edgewater Skycam, looking at partly sunny skies right now. Today's high of 88 degrees. That's so far about 5 degrees above normal for this time of year. Other high temperatures made it to 90 in Boscobel, 92 in Prairie du Chien, and 91 in Mineral Point. Right now, those temperatures pretty close to their daytime highs. But if you factor in that humidity, which is still rather high, it feels like 92 in Madison at the 5 o'clock hour, 91 in Janesville and in Watertown, and 98 right now in Mineral Point. Temperatures will still stay hot over the next couple of days, 91 for tomorrow, but really on Thursday and Friday, even into portions of Saturday as well. That's really when that dangerous heat is possible across southern Wisconsin with air temperatures in the mid-90s at times. Friday does look to be the warmest day with mostly sunny skies. Temperatures right around 95, 96 degrees with that humidity. Could feel like 105 to 110 in some spots. That is not desirable by really anyone. Temperatures will fall to near 70 tonight, mild and muggy. Slight chance of a shower and storm. Could have some patchy fog forming by tomorrow morning. We're in the low 90s for tomorrow, hot and humid with heat index values close to 100 at times. So I'm thinking those storms fizzle for the most part as they move into southwestern Wisconsin, so I do think Madison stays dry overnight. Again, maybe some patchy fog possible by tomorrow morning. Once again, in the upper 80s and low 90s for temperatures on Wednesday, a slight chance of a shower and storm. Our better storm chances arrive late on Wednesday into early Thursday morning. Some of these storms could actually be a little bit on the strong side. Now, depending on how long those storms hang around, they could actually help our temperatures a little bit stay at least out of the mid-90s on Thursday, but still going to be hot and humid, feeling like 103 in Madison by the time we get to Thursday afternoon and evening. So we're definitely going to have to be still dealing with this heat and humidity for quite some time. Into next week, though, it does look like some relief is on the way, and our latest long-term forecast models paint a much different picture for the end of July. We could be looking at some below normal temperatures and maybe some below normal precipitation as well as we head into the next couple of days. So here is a look at your first alert traffic updates, and we have been dealing with the construction closer to I-40 or I-3990, I should say, as we head into the next couple of hours. Hopefully we will see those delays a little bit less, and we're already noticing, there we go, there's that traffic camera, and we're already noticing some improvements there, and DOT is estimating the lanes be fully reopened by the time we get to about 9 p.m., so that's good news. Otherwise, normal-ish traffic on the Beltline for this time of the afternoon, so plan accordingly, plan for some delays. That is your first alert traffic update.
All right, Dave, thank you.
Ahead on News 3 Now, and 5 Emmy nominations have been released. We'll tell you which films and shows have the most nods. That's after a short break. Welcome back. The nominations for the Emmy Awards have been announced.
HBO's Game of Thrones dominated the Emmy nominations, setting a record with 32 nods, including Best Drama Series, the highest total for any show in a single year. Netflix's When They See Us, the real-life drama of the Central Park jogger case, earned a nomination for Outstanding Limited Series. Amazon Prime's The Marvelous Mrs. Maisel snagged multiple nominations. Both Veep and The Marvelous Mrs. Maisel are up for Best Comedy Series, but missing from that category, a Hollywood favorite that many expected to see, The Big Bang Theory.
An alligator that took up residence in a Chicago park lagoon has finally been captured. Florida wildlife expert Frank Robb showed off his catch to the media in Chicago, a 5-foot alligator. He reeled it in overnight with a fishing rod nicknamed Chance the Snapper. The gator was first spotted in the Humboldt Park Lagoon a week ago. Investigators still don't know how Chance ended up in the park lagoon. They suspect he was someone's illegal pet. Another check of your forecast in just a moment. Stay with us.
A Wisconsin softball team is racking up success across the country.
The 16 and under Poynette Crush softball team captured the gold in the Panama City Beach World Series last week. The team made up of girls from Poynette, Lodi, Reedsburg, and the Sauk Prairie area. During the 6-day tournament, the Poynette Crush went undefeated, captured that championship. They even defeated the #1 team in the nation, 4-3 in extra innings. Poinette Crush is currently ranked 6th in the nation. Maybe they need to redo those rankings, huh?
Wow,
Poinette needs to be number 1. Great
congratulations.
job
That's
to those young
fantastic.
ladies. And heck, it's probably cooler down in Panama City than it is
I
here.
was just thinking that. Some crushing humidity on the way over the next couple of days. We do have a few showers and storms off to the west on Doppler track. I really think they're going to fizzle as they continue to move to the east, but some of our friends across southwestern Wisconsin may pick up a quick shower and storm this evening. Heat index values falling through the 90s and 80s over the next few hours. 7 to 10 day forecast showing more heat and humidity on the way over the next couple of days.
All right, Dave, thanks. We're back in 30 minutes for News 3 Now at 6. Stay tuned now for the CBS Evening News with Nora O'Donnell.